1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
That's great, guys. That's going to be fine.
I'm working with Dave Grusin.
Let's do this, and then Dave will give a break.
And this man is truly an icon.
David is one of the most prolific arrangers and conductors in the United States. There's no question about it.
When I was in college, I thought I'd really like to write music for a living.
4 times. The brass licks, are they indicated in there at bar 47? I think Sammy's got something up in the very top.
I was enamored of film music because it seemed like a kind of a frontier that you could deal in and write some good music to, and maybe make a living doing it. Hank Mancini found a new way to score pictures with music that jazz people could relate to. Not everything he wrote was jazz, but it all had that kind of swing, and I thought, well, maybe things are changing now. Not everything has to be Dmitri Tiomkin, you know, serious European-based scores. So I started thinking about it then, and then that's finally what I ended up doing for a lot of years.
Yeah, but I mean, you should keep the piano, so that plays the piano, but we can extend it. I was like 19 years old, and Dave Grusin, I was in school, going to Manhattan School of Music in New York, and Dave came in as the piano player conductor for a pop singer named Andy Williams. They were looking for a drummer to go out on the road, and somebody recommended me because I was playing in this kind of very famous youth band.
Larry came with his parents and his girlfriend at the time, and they brought him in like they were sending him to camp.
And Dave hired me to be the drummer. We went out on the road together, and then we stayed on the road for the next 6 years together as brothers.
I think the partnership of Grusin and Rosen was really fantastic because Larry's such a great entrepreneur, but also a great musician. Dave is such a great composer and so thoughtful in his music. And the combination of that entrepreneurial head for it, coming from a musician himself, and the beautiful composer, producer, was magic.
I had heard his records, of course. So he finds out about me and he calls me up and he says, "Hey Sammy, this is Dave Grusin." I said, "Oh my God, I love your music." He says, "Can you do a session for me today?" And I said, "I can't because I'm getting married. I'm getting married in about an hour." And he says, "Well, listen, I got an idea. Why don't you get married and we'll celebrate in the studio?" And so we went there and we celebrated the wedding in the studio while I was doing his first record on GRP.
I think by far the high point for jazz and jazz-related music in the last 50 years was that great era of GRP records. Everybody in my business is, a huge fan of what GRP did for jazz, and that's Grusin Rosen Productions. The signing of people like Gary Burton and Arturo Sandoval, the GRP Big Band, and I wish there was another GRP now because jazz could use the help.
I'm a lover of music. I'm a student of music, and Dave Grusin he's one of the masters.
We didn't really divide the...
We haven't divided anything.
The Dave Grusin effect. The first word that comes to my mind is just is imagination in music.
When you're doing arrangements, right, and the whole growth of rhythm is very, very important. And David just rhythmically just expands himself all the time more. When he arranges, every time he brings an arrangement to the table, it's a lot of fun to play it.
He's got a real knack for interesting rearrangements of things, even his own pieces. We say in jazz we reharmonize songs a lot, and he's a master at it. And I've stolen several of his harmonic arrangements of pieces and used them in other arrangements of my own.
It's telling me it might be you, and I'm feeling it'll just be you. Oh, all of my life.
Dave has an incredible style when he takes the music of the masters and reinterprets it with his ability as a master. It's just like putting great chefs together in a kitchen and making a magnificent meal.
You know, this hit coming up ought to be on the.
Dave is just a great interpreter of song, and he brings something to the party that just is unexpected. It's so welcoming, and I you know, how do you describe genius? It's a little difficult to do, but I think he is one.
Ba-da-da-da-doo-dee. No? Okay, so that's in the other woodwind parts. All right, one more time. 25.
You know, I think a lot of what Dave does is so special because he's such a terrific person, and he writes real cool music. I don't know what else to say.
He's really known for his film work. All the films, like Tootsie for one, David was responsible for writing the arranging and conducting those films.
You can see why he became successful as a movie composer, because this is a situation where every movie is a new project and has its own, you know, demands and requirements.
Bar 8, here we go.
You have to be very flexible and have a good imagination, and Dave turned out to be a natural for this.
So that thing sounds so great, the way you're playing, the articulation.
Film scoring, you're by yourself, you're huddled up in a dark room somewhere trying to finish this stuff. You don't see anybody until you get to the date, and then there are all your friends, and they're all playing it. It's an amazing time. What makes you come up with this idea for this scene? For me to be happy with the scene, it almost doesn't have anything to do with the story. It has to do with the sound of the music as it relates to the cinematography. Not even the plot or anything like that. Just what it looks like.
You know, the interesting thing about Dave, he has so much experience, you know, from doing television shows and doing scores with big orchestras, playing live all around the world. He's experienced it all.
David is probably one of the most important musicians, conductors in America and the world. And he's a gentleman on top of everything else.
I've been passing time, watching trains go by. All of my life